Hello, this is Iyabo Onipede of coachiyabo.com with Leadership Matters. Last week I did a video for my weekly newsletter, and man, I got so much positive feedback. I decided this week I'll do another video because time is crazy this week for me. So the next couple of weeks I might do this. So let's jump right into it. I am calling this video the possibility of irreversible momentum. I believe we're in times of irreversible momentum. So I have a little story for you. This week I went over to LinkedIn, where I do quite a bit on social media with LinkedIn. You know me on Facebook, right? But I was on LinkedIn and I saw this amazing article. I think it was in Forbes or Inc. or something, where Netflix has gotten a diversity and inclusion manager. They named this black woman of color female as a diversity and inclusion manager. And I was so excited. I wanted to click on the link, but I was also fascinated by the fact that there were so many comments. It was a ridiculous amount, 30,000 or something. So I go clicking on the comments. Oh my God, it was such a horrible mistake, y'all. It was wrong of me to do that. Let me tell you why. The vitriol, the hatred. You know, my life is so wonderful. I don't have all that negativity in my life. Only on, when news things happen, do I really see that kind of negativity. Even on my Facebook wall, it's pretty cleaned up. I have one or two people that we have contrary views, but it's not vitriolic. It's not hateful. So a couple of them were saying things like, wouldn't it be really nice if they stopped making hiring decisions based solely on race and gender when hiring for inclusion and equity? It really degrades the spirit of the process and openly spits on it. Another one says, here we go again. It amazes me that companies now have full-time, quote-unquote, diversity and inclusion manager positions where a highly paid but otherwise likely unemployable individual is solely focused on ensuring that every so often everyone stands up to acknowledge or cite pledges to the new feminist or racial mantra in the workplace. We must achieve diversity at all costs because men are bad, women and minorities are good. Oh my God. And it went on and on and on and on. And I was like, at first I was almost sick to my stomach. I felt my stomach just, and then it stayed with me, and I know to pay attention to what stays with me. And I realized that I was fascinated with how in this age and time can a person have that kind of perspective, right? So I want to talk to you today about mindset and some issues with regards to racism and misogyny and gender discrimination, okay? My work in intercultural development is to help people develop intercultural competency, how to move through worlds, right? And be culturally competent. Well, culture may not be everything you think it is. So let's look at this. When it comes to culture, there's objective culture and there's subjective culture. Objective culture is the artifacts and institutions created by a group of people, reflected in such areas as art, architecture, literature, dance, holidays, and collective history. So we know, for instance, let me use me. I'm Nigerian. Yoruba, we have the objective culture, right? Our art, our architecture. If you follow me on Facebook, you know I'm always posting art, Yoruba, Nigerian art. And we have specific dances, holidays, our language, our collective history. We're constantly, we have our own mythologies, like how the earth was created, that kind of thing. Our own religious expression from the Yoruba people. That's as different as the Greeks, as the Romans, as the Nords, as Brazilians, as Latin Americans, whatever, right? The other aspect of culture is subjective culture, and this is where things can get murky. Subjective culture are patterns of interpretations, values, beliefs, perceptions, and behavior learned from one's group that guides individual and group activity. So, in its definition, it's not right and it's not wrong. It's just saying that these are patterns of interpretations, right? So, let's go back to the story about the Netflix person and some of the vitriolic responses. This is what we know popularly referred to as white supremacist culture, and it is a culture. And so we have to look at it as a culture to understand how, as an individual, we can react to it. How, if you're a business owner or a leader in a corporate or institutional organizational structure, how do you deal with it when you see it? I'm very famous for this. You start with self, right? We are all influenced by white supremacist culture because we live in the Western world where that has been the dominant power structure. And white supremacists, like a lot of times when people think white supremacists, they think KKK. Well, that is the extreme expressions of white supremacist culture today in 2018. But there's a lot of low grade underlying stuff that we have to deconstruct with compassion. Because to tell someone all your culture is wrong or bad or not worthwhile, you're missing what's going on. So hold on, develop a little bit of curiosity, right, to see more of what's going on here. With white supremacist culture, we have overt and socially unacceptable expressions. We have lynching, hate crimes, the N-word, all of those things. Same thing for women. You see, white supremacist culture only allows the white male to be at the top and the woman to be up under as a vehicle for her body to produce babies and take care of. That's it, right? So it came out of survivalist mentality, right? And the negative aspect of it, the ungifting of it is, I've gotten to power, I need to stay in power. I don't know who I am without power. And if I'm without this power, I'm nothing. That's what's going on. And you find these structures coming up in extremely traditional institutions. So if you're a leader in an organization, you want to look at your traditions and become very familiar with your traditions, the traditions of the institution. Why are you aligned with this institution? Why is this organization so key to your professional development? It's more than a paycheck. Yeah, we all like the comfort of a paycheck, but there's a reason you're aligning with the traditions of this institution. And I want you to evaluate that for yourself. The second thing I want you to understand from looking at people like this is the loss of tradition is a threat to people, because you're basically saying to them, your tradition is not good, not relevant. Relevance is a huge motivator, and there's a moral issue. You're wrong, right? And this moral issue, of course, they're going to respond with anxiety and defensiveness. My problem when I read these comments was, I'm used to working with people that say, okay, I know we need diversity and inclusion, help me get there. Or clients, oh my God, I have the best clients in the world. They come in and they're like, I'm racist. My people own slaves. What do I do? How do I get over this? I have such guilt, right? And we work through that, right? Some people don't have patience for it. I have patience for it in certain doses and with certain people. You know, if you want to work hard on this stuff, I'm your gal. If you want to help someone make apologies and no, no. But my point is, back to this Netflix comments, I have never come face to face in my work as a coach with a person that says, I am racist, I don't believe in diversity and inclusion, this is wrong, you're costing me my life, my work, right? Like what some of these comments were saying. And so it was just a complete shock to me. And what I realized, and I actually reached out to a couple of coaches, white women coaches who work in corporate, to say, have you experienced this before? And they said they hadn't, where they hadn't seen that kind of vitriolic response in working with people in corporate. But what I realized was how it's all about the fixed mindset. So if I think this is the pinnacle of life, this is as far and as high as I can get to, and I feel I'm there, I'm going to do everything in my power to hold on to being up here, right? And so that's a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset says, I cannot change. This is just who I am. Growth is not an option. I am in survival instinct mode. I am in scarcity mentality. Nothing can change for me, because if it changes, I'm doomed. So the biggest thing I want you to know is these folks are scared to death. They are scared to death of losing everything that they know. I'm a compassionate person. I believe in compassion. I believe it's positive for us to continue to show the possibilities, the options, that nobody, just because you lose your little throne, doesn't mean such a loss for you, right? It doesn't mean that. You are actually enhanced and your life is improved, because diversity and inclusion work shows that there's much more innovation, there's much more creativity, and there's much more prosperity when there's collaboration with diverse and inclusive, with diversion and inclusion policies. So it goes back to your true values. Some people have values that are hooked and anchored in lack and scarcity and negative power dynamics, but that's not their true values. Your true values are always, 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 mark my words, mark my words, mark my words. Your true values are always anchored in full authenticity of yourself, whole, prosperous, thriving, vibrant, and in service to others. Always. Always. It may be adventure, it may be care, it may be truth telling. Those are the types of things that are true values, right? So this week, as we look at possibilities of irreversible momentum, and in a second I'll tell you why I'm choosing irreversible momentum this week. Examine your life to see if you have a fixed mindset, okay? Begin to embrace a learner's mindset. I don't care if you're 982 years old, you can learn something new every single day. And it is a pattern of thinking that I don't know everything. And today is a new day. It's a beautiful day to behold. What am I going to discover in this day that will feed my soul? That's number 2. Carol Dweck wrote a book called Mindset. You want to pick that up and revisit it often. I have fixed mindset in some areas of my life, but not in others. So when I practiced my learner's mindset in those fixed areas, I've been able to shift some of them, and I continue to shift more. I continue to discover what is fixed within me. Ditto for you. Number 3. So number 1 is fixed mindset. 2 is learner's mindset. 3 is look at where your mindset is domination versus service. Domination versus service. I cringe when I see PR and marketing that says, we're here to dominate. I don't do domination. I serve. I serve, I serve, I serve, I serve others. I love service. In service is joy because our joy is connected to interaction. Even if you're an introvert, I'm an introvert. I test as an introvert. I'm a social introvert. But in serving others is where we find joy. In expression, you can't make money if you're not connecting through your expression to somebody else. We require each other to prosper. Remember that. Number four, fixed learners, domination, and versus service. Surround yourself with people that support you in this growth of a learner's mindset and a service orientation. Support yourself with people. Let me tell you another bitty story. I worked with a guy once who said, as a man, he couldn't mentor women because he had to mentor someone who looked just like him. We had a field day. He was one of my best clients ever. I enjoyed working with him because he was able to grow to a place of seeing that you don't have to look like me for me to love on you, help you grow, pour into you, serve you. You see how it ties into service orientation? You don't have to look like me. In here, we all kind of look alike. We have some things that are similar. But externally, our brain goes through this shortcut process and just clumps you. Men, women, black, white, person of color, short, tall. Look here. Look for here. Your mentors, your mentees, your collaborators, you want a wide variety. And you have to be able to have the capacity to hold space for the wide variety for you to begin to experience the attraction and collaborative effect to work with other people that don't quite look like you. Okay? Number 5, microaggressions are indicators that you have not grown to where you want to grow to be able to work with people of diverse places. And this week I want you looking at your microaggressions, throwing shade, all of that kind of stuff, blaming the victim, which is what happened with this guy, claiming reverse racism. If you're a white person, male, female, whoever, and there's a vestige, a slim piece of what happens to me? Am I obsolete? Am I irrelevant? If those thoughts come on, work with them. Don't squish them. Work with them. Reach out. Get help. Talk about it. You would be so surprised how people will love on you because you're being honest and will help you. But you see, that honesty and vulnerability and authenticity, that's what's going to help you continue to remain relevant. Okay? Next, finally, my invitation to you this week, beloveds, is to glide. What do I mean by glide? This thing of possibilities of irreversible momentum, I am speaking about the times we live in. Mid-October 2018, October 14th is, when this newsletter will come out. 2018, Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court, all kinds of craziness going on politically in America, racial issues, gender issues, everything is whacked, right? Crazy times. Ripe for transformation and change. Transformation is alchemy. It happens when you stir the pot. It doesn't happen when everything's cool and peaceful. It happens when there's fire under you to change and grow and expand into an awesomeness and amazingness, right? And so for us to glide right now, because we're all going through it, because if you just open your mouth to the person next to you, she's going through it, he's going through it, everybody is under threat, change, emotions are high. That's when we get to glide, because we get to do this thing together. We get to do this together. These times are awesome because everybody I talk to is like, oh my God, da 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 da. And you can talk about it in a way that creates more drama, or you can talk about it in a way that moves you forward, expands you, and helps you grow. This is it, folks. We're in it together. Leave a comment. Share this video. Thank you. Peace.